Hey everybody, the Connect Show is here to help small business owners thrive.
We are excited to bring you this, our very first Connect Show here in our brand new studio.
Our theme this month is mindset, and today we're going to help you develop a badass mindset.
And the Connect Show is recorded, so attend through Zoom in order to participate in networking and giveaways, and stay until the end because we have some exciting new giveaways coming up.
We want to help you break through being stuck and get rocking. Our two guests today are
Cyrina Talbot from the Mindset Transformation Company.
And Greg Fischer, a coach, a veteran, and has an award-winning barbecue sauce company.
And we'll be hearing from them shortly.
We are in this journey together, so we need your support.
Please like and subscribe if you're listening on the podcast, YouTube, or Facebook, and reach out to us at ideas@theconnectshow.com.
What do you like about the Connect Show? What can we do better on the Connect Show? We would like to thank our sponsors for making this happen.
Serendipity Labs is a co-working, flexible office space, and it's where you can be creative and access professional workspace and flexibility to meet your business needs, and all supported by an on-site hospitality team.
With over 40 locations across the country, there is a Serendipity Lab near you.
There is. So we'd like to hear suggestions for topics and guests on the show.
If you'd like to be on the show or know somebody who does, please let us know at the ideas@theconnectshow.com or visit theconnectshow.com/be our guest.
Be our guest. I love that. I sing it every time. So to start off the show, Elon Musk had a great quote. And that quote was, when you are married, you get a bridal shower. And when you have a baby, you get a baby shower. But when you go out to start a small business, you're left out there to figure it out on your own.
That is why we created this show. Our goal is to give you, the small business owner, everything you need and to thrive. There's also a quote that says, knowledge is power. We have found that knowledge is not the power, actually. The actions you take after you have the knowledge is where the power comes in.
That's a great quote. I love that one.
The goal of the Connect Show with John and Tracy is to give you knowledge, but also to inspire and motivate you to take action.
It is.
Our gift to you is the guest, tools, and inspiration this community brings to all of us.
We're just the facilitators. This is your group. So help us all grow together. All right, we have Vitamins for the Soul, which is our brand new segment, and we're on camera one. This is great. There's a lot of cameras, so we're still navigating through it.
Vitamins for the Soul is a new segment where we share good habits, tools, and help you on your journey.
And success is really a result of consistent good habits each week. We have some new surprises for you every week.
Okay,
All right.
John, what's your morning habit? I'm curious about your morning habit.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you asked that.
Because it has all to do with mindset, and you are all about the mindset morning habit thing.
And that's a great question. That's a great question. So my morning habit is, it starts the night before, but we'll have that for a different show. My morning habit is to set a daily intention and to have a clear mind moving forward. So I start out by stretching because my old body needs to stretch. Got to get that core kind of worked out. I need 20 ounces of water because I'm always dehydrated, and water is the thing that keeps me going. And I need to meditate. And that meditation is, I have this thing where I learned it in Tony Robbins, where you bring in the energy of the universe. It's a yellow light. It's the gold that comes from the universe, comes in through your body, and then you release what you want to. And some days I need to release gratitude, and some days I wake up with a bad thought, and I have to release that negative energy. So those are the three things that I have to do right when I wake up. And then when I get my coffee, I have to journal. And about 3 years ago, I started journaling using the Brendon Burchard High Performance Planner. And what this does is it changed my life when I started doing this, because it gave me a really clear understanding of what I was going to do during the day. So before I had this journal, I just had notebooks and I just wrote stuff, and it turned into like a Dear Diary, and it sounded kind of like a Taylor Swift song or something. It was just weird. So now to have a little bit of direction and structure, I can focus on my goals and also focus on things like getting outside of my comfort zone. And it's consistency. And consistency is what I believe is the key to anything. Any good habit is good when you do it all the time. So if I do this every day and every night, I know that at least I'm doing one thing of these prompts. So inside the book, there's weekly and monthly prompts, but every day it asks you, what am I excited about today? And then at the end of the day, it says, what's a moment that I really appreciated? And then it says, what's one thing you can do outside of your comfort zone? That's always the tough one, you know?
Especially early in the morning when that's the first thing you're looking at. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, what do you...
That takes some practice.
What are you going to do? Who are you going to reach out to that's outside your comfort zone? What are you going to do? What big, bold, brave, courageous step are you going to make? And then at the end of the day, it says, what is something I did to be more connected to others? Because I don't know about you, but when you do web work and I do video work, and that's work where we get deep dive into that, and you get lost, and all of a sudden you wake up, and it's 8 o'clock at night, and you're like, I haven't talked to any other humans, and you feel weird. So having these prompts, it forces me to think, and when I think of that forcing me to think, it's the notes, but it's the space between the notes that makes the music, and that's what I think journaling is, because it's that calm, peaceful time where I can just connect with the universe and start my day.
So you found that it leaves you on track during the day? Like, do you remember things that you wrote in the morning as you're going through your day and try to accomplish them? Or do you just at the end of the night go, oh, I'm so glad I accomplished that?
That's a great question. I have to keep it with me. And from here, what I do is I learned a great method of making a to-do list, and that's to not make a to-do list. So in here, I'll write things that I may need to do, but I take that to-do list and I put it on the calendar. Because once it's on the schedule, then it's no longer an idea. It is it's a task, and it's going to get done, and it's going to get scheduled. So that's the journal, and we have an exciting giveaway today. Take it away.
So our giveaway is going to be one of these journals. To get in the winnings for the journal, if you are on the Zoom call, in the chat, Kim is going to put in there the link to our newsletter that we just started for the John and Tracy show. So we want you to see all the cool stuff that we're going to be doing. So if you can log in, or what is it? Enroll into the subscribe to the newsletter. Just put that in the chat that you subscribe to it, and at the end of the show, we are going to select one of you to win the journal. So. And
another exciting note is we have all 6 colors.
Oh yes, all 6.
So you will get to choose your color of journal that you want, and it lasts for 60 days. So it's going to be a great opportunity for you to start journaling and do something consistent.
Cyrina Talbot, owner and founder of the Mindset Transformation Company, is a transformational coach and clinical hypnotherapist.
She helps small business owners who are frustrated or overwhelmed to get to the root of the issue quickly. Boy, the mouth isn't working. Maybe hold on, coffee break. There we go. She's going to help people reprogram their mindset for success and take action on their goals.
This creates the confidence, clarity, and self-trust that business owners and entrepreneurs need to thrive in the marketplace.
Welcome, Cyrina Talbot. How are you doing today?
I am great. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. This show is, so far, it's amazing.
Well, wonderful.
It's
Awesome.
It's exciting.
So what's one awesome, great thing that happened to you this past weekend?
Well, my youngest is on a mountain bike team. So in our family we didn't really do like soccer, baseball, football, stuff like that. I have 4 girls. I have one in ballet, which like isn't really a spectator sport. So we have this spectator sport now of mountain bike team, and we had our first race, which is a ton of people at a local park, Minooka Park. I don't know if you guys know that one, on the mountain bike trails. And so now with my youngest child, I'm going to be that, mountain bike mom traveling around to all the events on the weekends. But it was really fun. So
That's cool.
That's wonderful. So for our guests who don't know, tell us who you are and what you do.
yeah, so I'm a rapid transformational therapist. I'm a transformational coach. And so I really help people in business and individuals who are feeling completely overwhelmed, sometimes anxious, sometimes past trauma, but where you have goals, you have a way that you want your life to be, your relationships to be, your business to be, your finances to be, and when it's not happening and you kind of know what you should do and you're not doing it, a lot of times that's something subconscious, it's old programming, it's things that are holding us back. And so I help people get to the root of that. And so we're not going to spend forever talking about it. We're going to get to the root and get you moving toward those goals, having new programming and new patterns that serve you so that you can create the life that you want.
That's cool.
And it involves hypnotherapy, which is, that's a different thing that maybe people aren't familiar with, but it's a way that we access those beliefs, right? Because a lot of times we know what we should do, we're not doing it, and we don't know why. So I help you understand why and then stop. And all the Olympic athletes use hypnosis, and tons of professional athletes. It's just a way to understand this powerful part of us that is sometimes running the show, and we have no idea like where it's going, and it's not going where we want it to go. So we get that, so it's supporting you and not stopping you.
So it kind of sounds like a little bit of what John does in the morning when he talks about his mindset, setting it up in the morning, but you kind of coach it and mold it so they're going in the right direction. So when we talk about mindset, why is that so important?
So I really thought about this question. It's kind of a standard question, but I was thinking about it, and I have kind of a visual, if you'll stay with me for a minute, about why, especially modern business owners, mindset is like non-negotiable. So I want you to think of, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, right? Like businesses, and I want you to picture what that looked like 100 years ago or 50 years ago. And what we picture, if I was to ask everybody in the audience, it's probably going to be something really similar. And for the sake of this illustration, we're going to use a candle maker, right? Most of us are going to picture a brick and mortar building. It's in a community, a town, or a city. They've got a shingle that says candle maker. They serve the local community. Maybe they go to the market. Maybe people come to them. And there's a container for that business, and that's really important. Everybody maybe goes to lunch at the same time. They know the hours of operation. They know who their market is. They know how the business is running, and they know the location. All of these things are known, and so that container they don't have to think about. And now I want you to think of where you got your candles, fast forward to today, that are in your house, maybe, or you bought in the last year. And the possibilities for how those candles got to you are endless. So the container for how that business is operating is endless. Maybe they're Walmart or Target, right? They were shipped from China. Maybe they were from local farmers market and somebody got them from like local beeswax and they made them with their hands. Or maybe they were, you bought them off Amazon. And so all of these things, it's important because the way you can do business, you can do it any way you want, which is phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Freedom and possibility, but it's also maddening to our minds because we want a container. We want somebody to say, this is how you do it. This is how you succeed. This is the right way to do it. And because people are doing that in our world, in everything. They say, well, be on LinkedIn. That's the best place to be. No, be on Instagram. No, be on Facebook. No, you need to be open 24/7 and serve all the clients and have, bots answering questions. No, you need to do the 4-hour work week and be at home with your family more. And, all of these things, you might be in like a converted bus that's off grid and you're making your candles and you're selling them on Amazon. Like, when there's so many possibilities, like I said, it's a ton of freedom, but you have to build the container your business is in and do the actual business. So that's a lot of mindset work. That's a lot of mental, you're making decisions that we never used to have to make. There was a business, it was down in the town, you made the candles, you sold to the market. You could have a market now that's maybe just bridal. Maybe you put like cats' pictures on the candles. Like I said, it's amazing, but it takes work to train your mind to know that you're making the right decision and that you're successful when anything is a possibility. It's a mental strength, and mindset is non-negotiable now.
That's great insight.
Yeah.
You talked about kind of getting unstuck, or making that breakthrough. What would be, if we were to name the top 3, the Jimmy Kimmel top 3 reasons that people are stuck? What would they be? What would that look like?
Yeah. So the fascinating thing about our minds is that we have these programs. If you think about a computer, you plug in code and it runs a program. And for us as humans, that's set before age 10. So before age 10, we're just absorbing. How does success work? How do I work? Am I valuable? Am I of success? Am I good? Am I smart? Am I dumb? How do relationships work? How does money work? We're learning all of that. And so then you want to run your business. And if you grew up in poverty, or you grew up believing you were dumb, maybe you weren't smart in school, if you grew up with any of these beliefs, that's 95% of your thoughts and patterns of behaviors that even though as a successful person, you're like, yeah, I'm smart, I can do this. We hype ourselves up, like, I got this. If those are not aligned, that's going to keep you stuck. So the number one thing is people not believing they can do it, not believing they're valuable enough, not believing they deserve success, not believing they're really going to succeed. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm, not as good as somebody else, right? It's all about our belief in ourselves that determines if we're going to succeed or not.
That is great insight. Before we go to our next question, if you have any questions for Cyrina, we are going to be answering questions in just a moment. So go ahead and put them in the chat of the Zoom, and we'll get to those in a minute. But my question for you, Cyrina, before we get to the audience questions, is how do you help people transform their mindset into this next level of thinking?
Yeah, and it really is like similar to what you do in the morning, is you're figuring out you're having that awareness. What are my patterns? What are the thoughts that are there? Like you said, you're aware of a negative thought. And that's a really powerful practice. That's what I do with clients, to understand our thoughts and us are different, right? And when you understand that, you can begin to make decisions and make wise decisions instead of living by default. So when we don't know the program, we're living by default. We're reacting, people make us angry, we're procrastinating, we're self-sabotaging, and we don't feel empowered. It's more like it's happening to us. What I do with people is help you understand, okay, here's why. You're not a horrible person, you're not dumb. Here's why, it's just some old programming. And then here's how to be aware and make a different wise choice, which puts you in control.
I have a comment about that,
Yeah.
because I've learned that even if you were programmed, where you were raised a certain way and people were teaching you certain things, sometimes it could be two different kids and one kid just interprets it differently than the other kid. So it has a lot to do with the way that you perceive it and interpret it also.
It's crazy, and it's kind of like, sometimes it's super discouraging when you're like, yep, everything you have is when you were 10, so that can be like, well, that's really great, like a 7-year-old is determining my future.
Yeah.
And it is. Two people, same family, we can have the different personalities, right? You have the one that's like trying to do everything right, and the one that's like, well, big sister's doing everything right, I'm going to be the goof off, and totally different programming in those ways. So, but understanding it first of all takes away the shame, like we don't have to beat ourselves up about this stuff, and empowers us to think differently.
When you leave, we want to make sure that you get one of these journals. Yes, we have a whole bunch of them here for you. So we're going to definitely let you choose which color you want. There's a rainbow of colors, so that's wonderful. I love what you're doing because I think the programming is such a big part of it. You know, if we're one thing I notice is that a lot of like younger coaches who are in their 20s, they're like, I had this thing and then I made a breakthrough, and because that breakthrough might be easier to make because that programming has only been there for a few years. When you're over, let's say, 35, like me, you know, you have a few more years of that programming, and it becomes heavy, you know, and it takes a little bit more effort to get out of that. How do you get the old guy to lose those bad old habits? It sounds kind of weird.
I'm so glad you asked because it's a thing. We're like, I'm too old. Maybe an old dog can't learn new tricks. And so there's a thing called neuroplasticity. So they're learning our brains are more plastic, where they used to think like you were wet cement until you were younger, and then it was solidified and like, I can't change, this is just the way I am, you know, kind of a thing. Now they're learning, and it's scientifically takes 63 days to change a thought, and it doesn't matter your age, which is really encouraging, which is why I'm like, you know, this is what I'm passionate about. You can always, always, always change. You're never stuck. You're never doomed for eternity because you're over 50 or 47 or, you know, whatever.
35, yeah.
Or 35,
yeah.
over 35 in your case. But you can always change. I think sometimes people have that belief, like I'm too old, and so they aren't open to it or taking necessary steps toward it, right? But you can change at any age.
There's hope for me yet, Tracy.
There is
hope for me yet.
Good luck. Good luck.
This
Only
is great
63 days from now.
Yes, this will be great. So tell us, you have a small business mastermind that I'm really excited about because we did some work on this with making some promos for it the other day, and this is one thing that I'm really excited about. So tell us about that mastermind and how people can get involved.
Yeah, so Ariel Kopak is another mindset coach, and we work together. So it's group mindset coaching for entrepreneurs, a mastermind. And we meet twice a month, the first and third Wednesdays at 4 p.m. over Zoom. And we have conversation about different topics, and then we're giving you time and space to work on your mindset. So this is really, if people can picture it like a muscle, right? It's a muscle that we have to build. Like I explained earlier, we need it for the marketplace that we're in, for the world we're in. But a lot of things that I could say maybe you already know or you read in a book, but we need to practice them. So we're providing a place to practice every month and go through 3 steps about each topic. So we talked about procrastination, owning success, fear of failure. This month is overcoming, I'm using the wrong word, overcoming imposter syndrome. Next month is what you say and how you say it. Like, how are you coming across to the world? And so we teach a little, but then it's really digging in and discussing like what's happening in your business, what's happening in your life. And we're coaching in that group mindset mastermind for entrepreneurs. And we love it. It's so much fun. Yeah.
I love it. It sounds like I read something in, is it Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People? If you walk into a room and you think everybody hates you or everybody loves you, either way, you're right.
Yep.
It's true. And scientifically, there's reasons for that too. In your brain, you're going to focus your reticular activating system, and we find what we're looking for, right? Yeah.
That's wonderful stuff. So be sure to...
They can get her information on the website. Yep,
we have the information on the website. It's theconnectshow.com/Cyrina Talbot. And you can access her course, the mastermind.
Yeah. And
we also have questions from the Zoom audience, but until they get here, we're going to ask you a question, freestyle.
Yeah.
Just random questions, no practice.
Awesome.
Okay, so if you were to make a giant billboard, and put it on the LA freeway, and it could say anything that you wanted, what would that billboard say?
There's the statement that is, I think really powerful, that you are enough, and maybe that's really, I don't know, cliche, and everybody has it, but the idea when I think of you are enough, you're valuable, you're worthy, you can do this, all those things that you've probably heard, but it's this idea that whatever, maybe the billboard would say this, like, if you have the dream and the vision, it's because you're supposed to do it. So our job is to get our belief in the place that it needs to be to do that. That's way too long. I don't know if I could do a billboard.
I think billboards are 7 words, but I love what you did. I think it's great. I love the idea. I think it's an interesting idea.
How about vision equals do it?
Yeah, just do it. It's mistaken, yeah.
If you have a question, be sure to raise your hand in the Zoom. Put your question into the chat. Otherwise, we can do some of our preloaded questions. So, what is one habit that you've adopted over the last year or two that you as a result of having that habit for so long has really changed your life?
Yeah, it's similar to you. Meditate every morning, and sometimes people are like, oh, like, I don't want to meditate. I can't stop my mind. I can't get quiet. And it's not about that. It's, again, separating you from your thoughts, and meditation is the best way to do that. There's tons of studies that lowers our stress and actually takes stress out of our bodies, but it helps us learn and know, again, that choice and that empowerment. I don't have to go with every thought that comes up. So I do guided meditation every morning, and then a visualization. So visualizing my day, visualizing me being who I want to be, operating how I want to be in the world is really important to me. And then at night, do yoga. This helps put you in your body and not, like you said, not hurt as much after you sleep better, not hurt as much. And I journal not as consistently, not every single day, but most days. But when I'm working with clients to set up these practices, it's what works for you. I know one woman, a colleague of mine, takes a bath. And in her bath, that was her self-care for her when her kids were little, asks, how did my day go? What am I thinking? And if there's things that are negative, is it true? Just having those things, whatever works for you. Some people, sit outside, or you have to experiment with yourself, what works that helps you understand you are not your thoughts, and question, is this true? Is this helpful? Do I want to continue with this? Is this old programming? What do I want to think? Who do I want to be? Whatever that looks like for you, but meditation is, to me, the most powerful way to do that.
It sounds like you're getting into a flow state, like a theta wave, kind of getting in touch with a slower part of the universe rather than what's happening in the conscious world.
Yes.
Yes.
They're different brain states.
Yes, that is wonderful. So can you use hypnosis over Zoom, or is it need to be in person?
Both. I work with clients all over the country over Zoom, and it's just as effective. And then I do have an office in Milwaukee as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool that you can do it over Zoom.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So is it like the movies where it's a spinning circular black and white wheel or a watch, and you wear a hat and a mustache?
Ding,
No?
ding,
Right.
ding, ding.
And then, I tell people to give me all their money. No. It's getting into that calm, relaxed state. It's really simple. If you ever have zoned out while you're watching a movie, you're in that state. Like I said, when we're little, they call it the hypnagogic state. Kids are in that. That's why they're able to learn languages and math and all the things they're absorbing. It's a lower brainwave state, which means you can absorb more. You're in that state if you're driving and you zone out and you got home but you don't remember all the turns. It's that autopilot state. First thing in the morning and right before we go to sleep at night, we're in that state already. And so the thing that's powerful is that's where our beliefs live. It's alpha brainwave state, alpha and theta, like you were talking about. And usually we operate in beta, which is faster. If you're anxious, it's high beta, which is really fast, which means you're not thinking as well. You're not aware. So when you slow it down, that's why all these methods, like the woman who took a bath, she was slowing herself down, and you can understand what's going on and question and reprogram. So when you're in that state, you can change the behaviors and get to choose how you're thinking. So anyway, that's what we do in a session. You're in a calm, relaxed state. It's very simple. It's similar to a guided meditation, but I'm directing you to figure out, okay, what are those beliefs that you have that's holding you back, and how do you release them? And really, there's healing that can happen too, right? If we've learned you're stupid, then you're healing that younger you that absorbed that belief and telling them the truth, right? That you're smart, you're capable, you can do this. And when you do it in the subconscious, it sticks. When you just tell yourself, I'm smart, in front of the mirror, it might not stick, you know, every day. It's just a powerful way to change beliefs.
That's so powerful.
We have a couple questions.
Yeah, why don't you?
Gail asks, can you share any techniques you use to help transform your beliefs?
A powerful one is to ask questions. So our subconscious is 95%, and sometimes that's like, okay, where is that? How is that happening? What's going on? And our conscious is 5%. So anything you can do when you're asking, you sit and again, you're quiet, you can journal and you can say, okay, what am I thinking right now? How is that feeling in my body? Is this serving me or not? Do I want to keep thinking this? Is it helpful? Is it empowering? We get to know these things, and instead of just going, oh, I'm so stupid, I can't believe I'm doing this again, we sit with it and kind of lean in, and it can be uncomfortable, but you're getting to know your patterns, even if they're horrible patterns. So when you get to know them, you can change them. When you don't know them, you can't change them, right? So I would suggest, and I have people do this, I give them homework. What are the thoughts in my head right now? How am I feeling? A lot of times it'll be making your body feel tense and people don't even pay attention or know, right? And then what is the story? Is the story true? And do I want to keep thinking it? Like that process, it's ridiculously simple. But when we take the time to like sit with ourselves and ask these questions, we get powerful answers. So that's what I encourage everybody to do. Anytime you're repeating something that you don't want to repeat, start asking questions about it without shame, without beating yourself up. Just start asking.
That's awesome. All right, we have one more question we're going to take for Cyrina. It's from Janelle. How long can a person safely stay hypnotized?
Oh
if you're like you mentioned
gosh.
watching a movie, that's like 2.5 hours if you're being hypnotized.
There's
for that
a reason
long.
it's called programming on TV. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, like kids are in that state like till age 7 or 10. So when I work with people, it's for a couple hours. It's like, you know, being in a calm, relaxed state or sleeping, right? Like hypnosis isn't sleeping, but you don't want to sleep forever, right? We take these times to heal and understand what's going on, and then you need stuff you got to do, right? You got to mow the lawn and go grocery shopping. So you can maybe you could experiment with how long you can do it. It's a really healthy state of mind. There's nothing, you know, unhealthy about it, but we do have to engage in life. So
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Cyrina. This was a great time to spend with you, and I learned so much about programming and making those breakthroughs.
63 days.
There we go. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see you in the small business mastermind. What's the actual name of it? I feel like I'm muddling through the name.
Oh yeah, it's the and I am too. So because we was mindset for money and motivation. So it's the I'm just totally blanking. The mindset group coaching for entrepreneurs.
Okay, perfect. Mindset group coaching for entrepreneurs with Cyrina Talbot and Ariel Kopek. And we really appreciate you coming by. And with that, you want to send it over to Kim?
Kim, are you ready for our networking report?
We have a brand new segment called the Networking Report with Kim Knock.
I am ready. I had to get myself unmuted. So hi, everybody. I'm doing the networking forecasting for the Connect show today. Thank you all for coming. So you're networking just by coming today, right? So if you're not networking, you're not working, is a quote that I like to use on a lot of my social media stuff, and it's by Dennis Waitley. I'm going to put it in the chat. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about networking that you can find in our area. And I want you guys, if you don't hear me shout out some of your favorite networking groups, send that information to me, put it in the chat, who your favorite networking groups are, so we can make sure to help spread the word and keep those networking groups flowing and keep people working. So a great thing with networking is making new friends and gaining new relationships. You learn from others to advance yourself quicker in your business. You can enjoy social events and gatherings, whether you're doing it in person or virtual. I think it's kind of great that like both options are super popular right now. You can contribute to help others and gain the reputation of being an expert in your field. That's kind of key, that you're out there showing that you're working. So one of our partners is Small Business Milwaukee, and the people behind it have a passion for networking. So you can meet other small business owners, make new friends, clients, and alliances, and bring your business over owner friends. There's always a casual agenda. You can relax and network, and all small business owners are welcome. Freelance truck sales, retail, mom and pop, all that kind of stuff. And the events coming up right now, there are think tanks every Monday at 6 p.m. and every Thursday at 2 p.m. And after I'm done with the networking report, I'm going to put links for all of these groups in the chat. One super popular one is the Brookfield Chamber. So the Greater Brookfield Chamber of Commerce represents the interests of businesses in Brookfield, Wisconsin, provide member businesses with resources to help develop and grow their businesses. And some resources that they provide: networking opportunities, business education, connections to local and state government, and other resources. So today they have a Zoom meeting at 11:30. Their stuff all requires registration, and most you have to be a member, but there are some you don't. 9:15, there's a nonprofit business briefing at 12 online. On 9:17, they have the weekly chamber member coffee chat at 9 a.m. and Dog Dash Discover 5K at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday. Again, I'll put the link for Brookfield Chamber in the chat. Rely Local does networking lunches and mixers, and they do it at local restaurants and venues all over Southeast Wisconsin. And I know that they're expanding into Elkhorn as well. You can meet small business owners. These are in-person events, and they do have a weekly Zoom event on Friday. So they say you can invite your friends, work colleagues, and associates. And on 9:15, they have a meeting. All of their events are at 11:30 a.m. They have a meeting at Baker Street Pub and Grill in Kenosha. On 9:16, Los Mariachis in Greenfield at 11:30. Pond is another professional opportunities networking group. They have an entire calendar of events for local networking groups. So they not only promote themselves, they promote other networking groups around. And they have a weekly meeting on Mondays at 8:30, which is virtual. And of course, you have the Connect Show. We're going to be weekly on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. And I will link all of this in the chat. Again, if you guys have any, I got to get back to my screen. So if you guys have any Warhorse, that is one I needed to find the events. So thank you, Mark. I'm really excited to join. Thank you, Laura, for the think tank. We change the topics every week, so it's very, very interactive. Spirit Business Connections. I have not heard of that. I'm really excited. You guys are really participating. Thank you so much. And one other thing that we're going to be doing as the Connect Show continues to grow is we're going to be bringing on some of the people that run the networking groups, and we'd like to interview them so they can really describe what their group is about. And we can ask them some questions one-on-one, and then you guys in the chat can ask them some questions, and then you can find their groups and keep your business going. So that is about all that I have on networking today. So I am definitely saving the chat for you guys. If you guys did not subscribe to that giveaway, do that, because I will be doing a random list picker so we can get a winner. So make sure you put subscribed in the chat. And that's it for my networking report, hanging out in Serendipity Labs.
That's awesome, Kim. Thanks.
Thanks, Kim.
We have Greg here now. I'm excited to meet Greg and have Greg on the show. Greg is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and co-founder of Burn Pit Barbecue, where he shares grilling and barbecue recipes, yum, and tips. Greg served 3 combat deployments in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. As a Marine, he led and took part in combat and humanitarian missions.
Greg was honorably discharged at the rank of sergeant in 2006, and as a coach, Greg is a certified ECHO and neuro leadership brain-based professional coach. So we got a whole bunch of questions. What is ECHO? But let's get started by welcome Greg Fischer.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So Greg, I always like to ask, what is one great thing that happened to you this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, similar. I have 3 young boys, and they all are in sports right now. So my youngest is 4 years old, and he just started soccer. So he just had his first game over the weekend, and he loved it. He didn't want to leave the field. So that was the best thing to happen to this weekend.
That's wonderful. What was your biggest challenge in getting started or figuring this whole thing out? Because it sounds like I've been following you for about a year or so, that you were doing one thing and now you're into coaching, you have the barbecue, you have a lot of things going on. So tell us how that all happened.
Yeah. For me, the biggest thing was betting on myself and, taking that risk and jumping into kind of the fear of the unknown. That was the biggest challenge for me, was leaving the stability of a corporate environment and going off and doing my own thing. So that was the biggest challenge, overcoming that fear and then taking that leap and that leap of faith.
Nice. So our topic today is mindset, and that's part of why you're here today. So what does your morning routine look like that gets you off on the right foot every day?
Yeah, so for me, the biggest thing is the mornings is me time. I do have 3 young boys, and they're in various activities and sports. So I like to get up early. I like to do some physical activity. I practice jiu-jitsu and judo, so I'll get up and do that a couple times a week. If I'm not doing that, I will try and do some weightlifting or some cardiovascular stuff outside when it's warm out. But then also take some time to reflect and really start practicing gratefulness. So I have a gratitude practice where I just kind of sit in the silence and think about what I'm grateful for that day.
Nice.
Gratitude is such an important part. And to help with your morning routine, we're also going to give you a journal. I'm practicing my Vanna thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, where you get your choice of colors, and we want to make sure that you leave with a journal. So when you coach people, what are you seeing as their number one roadblock? And that thing that stops them from moving forward?
Yeah, like most people, it's procrastination. They know what they need to do, but they just don't do it. That's kind of where I help and assist with the accountability, and then also provide some frameworks and some helpful tips to get them there. Other things, again, like, when you're going in and you're trying for these big goals and these big visions, is fear of the unknown, and then self-doubt starts to creep in. So I help them create a plan and create a vision for what they want to accomplish, but then we also talk about some of those obstacles that can get in the way. And then we try and do everything we can to mitigate those obstacles. And also the biggest thing is celebrating wins when they come up. We're often, especially high achievers, are very hard on ourselves. So taking the time and the effort to really celebrate those small wins along the way creates momentum, and then also increases that self-confidence.
Mm-hmm. It says increase self-confidence. So you talked about gratitude, and high achievers are hard on themselves, and then we just had increased confidence on the screen. So how do those 3 tie together?
Yeah, again, so the self-dialogue is key for a lot of people. When we talk about imposter syndrome, when we talk about self-doubt, high achievers are always pushing for those next goals, but then they're also questioning themselves. And that self-belief can be diminished over time. So part of what I do is I help them maintain a healthy level of self-confidence, that they can continue to be grateful for everything they've achieved, but also be still ambitious and wanting to achieve more.
It's almost like you have to find a little bit of compassion for yourself at the same time as you're trying to achieve more. It's a fine balance, I think.
It is, and the world is often hard on us, so we need to be a little bit kinder to ourselves as we continue to achieve our goals.
Being kind to yourself. I post a lot of sayings. They're usually Brene Brown's quotes that are, be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, speak to yourself better. I heard one coach say, talk to yourself like your best friend would, because a lot of us don't do that. We talk to ourselves like our worst enemy would, and our best friend, what do they say? They say, you are awesome. This is why I love you. This is why I care about you.
Yeah, and that goes to when my clients come to me with a problem or an obstacle, oftentimes I'll use that kind of same analogy. Like if your best friend were to come to you with this challenge or this problem, what type of advice would you give to them? And 9 times out of 10, they know what they're supposed to do. They know how they're supposed to overcome that obstacle, but it's just reframing it in a different way to get them to think differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have another question. So what is one thing your audience could do for the next 30 days to help them move forward faster?
Yeah,
and with compassion.
Yeah, the first thing I do with my clients when I work with them is to actually write down their vision for themselves. Oftentimes I find that people might have short-term goals or even long-term goals, but they don't really have a vision of themselves as they start working on those goals. So the first thing I would encourage people to do is start to write down that vision that they have for themselves. And then once they have a good vision of where they see themselves 1, 3, or 5 years in the future, is to start making actionable steps that can help get them there faster. So again, now this is where the goals and the milestones come in, is we want to make sure that we don't just have a destination in mind, we have a roadmap for how to get there. So that's what I would recommend for people who are just starting or might need a little bit of help or encouragement is, start writing these things down, because the faster you start to write them down, I find in my research and from working with my clients, the faster that they get to achieve those things.
And if you have any questions for Greg, be sure to put them in the chat or raise your hand and we will call on you and bring you into the show. Greg, it sounds like you're talking about creating a mission, vision, values like we would for a company, and a lot of us are familiar with for yourself. And I think that's so important. What would your mission, vision, values look like?
For myself?
Yeah.
So my mission, I'm on a journey to help high achievers, veterans find their own self-purpose. So that's kind of my mission in life right now, post-corporate world, and what I'm doing right now. So if that's you, I'd love to chat with you. But then like my values is we want to make sure that we're aligned with the values that I believe in. So faith, family, and then also, serving my community, which I did, and I served my country, but I continue to serve my community now. So those are some of the values that I try and instill in everything I do.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, that's great. And thank you for sharing your mission, vision, values. That's, I kind of put you on the spot as like, okay, let's see what you're all about, David. And so that's great that you did that. Until we get some questions from the audience, I'm going to ask you the billboard question, because I'm kind of liking that one today. If you had a billboard, it's on the Houston freeway, could be LA, Houston, Jacksonville, whatever you're into. What is that billboard going to look like, and what's it going to say?
Yeah, so I thought about this when I heard you ask it behind the stage, and for me, it would be bet on yourself. And the reason I say that is, during this time, we see the great resignation going on. People are unhappy with where they're currently at. They feel stuck. And I feel betting on yourself is the only safe bet. So I've actually just created a course called Bet on Yourself that encourages people to really take ownership of where they are in their life and in their personal, professional life, and not wait for somebody to come tap them on the shoulder, because, honestly, you are the hero of your own story. So make sure that you're doing those things that are continuing to further and better yourself. So bet on yourself would be my billboard kind of saying.
That is wonderful. So if you have any questions for Greg, be sure to put them in the chat. What is one habit that you've done over the last 2 years that, now that it's, you've used it for a while, it's really making that significant impact?
Yeah, one thing that I've worked on really specifically within this past year is using I am statements. So I am statements are really kind of, again, helping to increase, my self-confidence too, of that vision of the person that I want to be. So for me, I started developing that over the year, and I read that to myself every day. So I am, and then I go into my spiel. I have a few of them that I'm working on. So one is kind of my professional one, I am, and goes into my professional vision, and then my health and wellness one, so I am. So I'm creating this picture of a future version of myself, but I'm relating it to myself in present tense.
Oh, that's so great. Sheila bet on yourself, put it on a Post-it note, and you have a little mini billboard.
Yeah.
Cool idea. I'm sorry, did you have a question? I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna, I don't remember what it was now. It was something about
I ruined it.
oh, are you doing that when you're meditating, that question, or that I am statement? Like, are you channeling your subconscious? Because she was saying earlier that if you just say it, it might not do anything. You could just say I am all day long and get nowhere.
Yeah, part of that practice is also the visualization. So, I have my vision, and in my course, I take my clients through actually creating a vision board so that subconsciously you're looking at it every day. So there's a similarities there, just a little different maybe phrasing of it. But yes, so there's a lot of visualization that goes on, and a lot of work that helps kind of program your subconscious mind to see that and feel it, so you're actually living it every day.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. You want to share Sheila's?
Sheila said, journal a list of your I am statements and return to it often. You could be putting your I am statements in your morning journal.
I can, yes.
Journal.
Yes.
Yep. Write them down until they become, you can memorize them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That is beautiful. So we're at the point of the day where we're going to do the giveaway. But before we do that, we want to say thank you to Greg. We really appreciate you coming by and sharing this. And we're going to put a link in the show notes or in the chat. Great job, Vanna. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to put a link in the show notes so that if you'd like to get in touch with Greg in the 30-minute Unstuck session, you'll have the opportunity to do that. And we have to do a giveaway.
Yep. Are you ready?
I am. So it just says the giveaway. That's all it says.
Kim, who's our giveaway winner?
Do we have that on there? Oh, yeah, we didn't put that on there. Kim, we're going to wait for that, but we'll stall until we get there. So this is super exciting because you get to choose your color. You get your brand new, shiny, never been used journal, which is good because if you got to use journal, that might be awkward.
Yes,
right?
That would not be so good.
There's some things you don't want used, and a journal is one of them. And
all right, we've got our winner now.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and our winner is?
Mark Bader. Yay!
Is Mark? I think Mark's in the house too, so he's going to save us on shipping.
He's all excited. You should see him right now. He's like this.
Yep, this is great. This is fantastic. So that is wonderful.
How does our winner get their gift?
Well, Mark's like 3 offices down the hall.
Well, just come on over and get it whenever you're ready.
You'll hear a knock on the door and Mark will be here. We're all at the lab, so the lab is great.
All right.
All right, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I'll always be here. I'm always in the building, as they say.
Yep. Mark is in the house. All right. So quick shout out to our sponsor, which is Serendipity Labs. We are so appreciative of Serendipity Labs for all of their support, and we love it here at the lab. So if you've never been here, email me directly, and I'll get you a day pass if you've never been here. You can hang out. They got a nice cafe, great places to work, and it's just wonderful. And next week, we have next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As soon as they show the image of it again.
There we go.
There we go.
You want to do it?
I can't see it.
Okay. It's
I don't want to misspell their names.
Krista Morrissey and Michelle Murder are going to be with us tomorrow or next week. And we're going to be talking about the ideal client, but we're going to be talking about how to align your mission, vision, values, as we talked about here. And if you speak to your client and they're aligned with your mission, vision, values, it's like you're all speaking the same language and you're reading their mind. So next week is going to be fantastic. And I'll let you do the next one, which is the yellow one.
Thank you for joining us.
No, the like and subscribe.
Oh, you're right. That's in white. Like and subscribe, follow, share,
there
do
we
all
go.
that social media stuff. Go to our website. You've already joined the newsletter, so that's great.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, just tell everybody about the show. Let's see how big we can make this thing.
Make it bigger than U.S. Steel, Michael. All right, so thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we will see you next week on The Connect Show with John and Tracy.